Welcome. Today we're diving into a really powerful Lenten reflection. It's all about that feeling of being completely stuck, paralyzed, and how some ancient wisdom might actually show us a path toward healing and a fresh start. So let's just start right here with this question. Because honestly, who hasn't felt this way? That sense of being just frozen. You can't move forward. Maybe it's in a job, a relationship, or just in your own head. It's a universal human feeling for sure. And there's a word for that feeling: paralysis. Now, when we hear that word, our minds usually jump to the physical, but it is so much bigger than that. Think about the emotional paralysis of grief or the spiritual paralysis when you're filled with doubt. It's anytime we feel like we've just lost the ability to act. So, how do we even begin to get our heads around this universal feeling of being stuck? Well, we're going to look at how two ancient texts tackle this very modern problem, and they offer a perspective that is, wow, truly timeless. So the whole foundation for what we're talking about today comes from these two incredible sources. You've got this huge, sweeping vision from the prophet Ezekiel on one side, and then a really intimate one-on-one encounter from the Gospel of John on the other. Let's see how they talk to each other. All right, let's kick things off with Ezekiel. And let me tell you, his vision is anything but small. This is epic, almost cinematic stuff, a grand image of hope and total transformation. The central image, the thing it all revolves around, is this life-giving water that's flowing from a sacred place, the temple. And think about that choice of symbol for a second. Water. In pretty much every culture, every tradition, it means cleansing, renewal, and life itself. Ezekiel is plugging right into that deep universal idea. But here's what's really cool. The healing he sees isn't static. It doesn't just appear. It starts as a tiny trickle, something you could almost miss. But then it grows. It gains momentum. It becomes this unstoppable river, so powerful it can bring life back to the driest, most barren desert. It's this incredible picture of hope that starts small but just becomes overwhelming. So the big takeaway from Ezekiel's vision is this. It's a metaphor for a source of healing so abundant, so powerful, that it can transform anything it touches. The message is pretty clear. No person, no situation is ever too barren or too dead to be brought back to life by this current. Okay, so we've got this massive, epic vision. Now let's zoom all the way in to a deeply personal, human-level story. We're moving from a huge desert to this one specific pool in Jerusalem, where a man has been waiting for a very, very long time. And the contrast here is just, wow, it's night and day. On one side, you've got the man's condition. He's been paralyzed for decades. He's helpless, stagnant. He is the very definition of stuck. But on the other side, you have Jesus' action. He doesn't just see a crowd of suffering people. He sees one person, an individual. He walks right up, asks a direct question, and then gives a clear command. And that command, that's the moment everything changes. Get up, take your mat, and walk. In that one instant, decades of waiting, of helplessness, of paralysis, are just broken. And it's not just about his legs working again. It's about restoring his ability to act, to move on. It's a command to leave that place of stagnation behind and get back to living. So, we've got this epic river of life and this intensely personal healing. But what does all of this mean for us, right here, right now? How do we connect these ancient dots to our modern lives? Well, this is where the reflection really brings it all home. It frames the entire season of Lent as our chance to intentionally step into those very same symbolic waters of healing. It's like an open invitation to immerse ourselves in that life-giving current that Ezekiel saw. And that flips the question right back onto us, doesn't it? This is the core question Lent is asking. If that life-giving water is real and available, what are the dry, desolate places in our own lives? Where do we feel stuck, helpless, or just stagnant, waiting for something to change? So let's boil this all down. What should we really take away from this? 3 big things. First, water is this incredibly powerful symbol for transformation and new life. Second, paralysis isn't just a physical thing. It's any spiritual or emotional state of being stuck. And third, and this is the hopeful part, healing can break through when you least expect it, even after years and years of waiting. And we'll leave you with this prayer from this source material, which I think just wraps it all up perfectly. It's basically a plea for that same transformative power to show up in our own lives. So the final question isn't just for that man at the pool, it's for us. Are we ready to let the waters be stirred? Thanks for joining me.